Bhujapadasana means arm pressure pose. Again, it's a very difficult pose, and for what we're doing today, I'm just going to demonstrate and explain how to get in and how to get out. We're not going to talk about the entire pose. It's best to come to a class and have somebody look at you and assess whether you are ready to do this pose or not. But for sake of conversation, I will show you how to get into the pose and how to get out of the pose with the least amount of effort. All right, take downward dog. So when we begin, we start with downward dog. When we jump into Bhujapadasana, I want you to jump with one foot on either side of the hand and land in a squat position. So jump forward, right? And then jump back, right? Rest. So that's how we want to learn to get into the pose. We're jumping up and into it. We're not jumping forward and at it. I want you to jump and land on top of your feet as quietly as possible. There. By landing as quietly as possible, we're lifting this bone. That's an important thing to remember. Also, the heels need to stay off the ground. Okay? The better the heels are up, the more their hips are up. Now you can see she's in a support. And then jump back. Okay? Put your knees down, rest. As we talked about earlier in that push-up position during our sun salutations, if the elbows stay in, there will be no support. She will just fall to her face. So her elbows will automatically be out. This will be her strength. You'll notice that her shoulders will come right over her fingers, and her head will be slightly forward. It's lifting this and holding this round in your back that become the most important part of it. The rest of it is just flexibility. Jump back again. All right? So what you need to practice initially for the Bhujapadasana is that jump in lightly, jump out. We're going to have her jump in 3 times, and what you should notice is that the hips are rising on the way in and rising on the way out. So let's try. So inhale and jump. Exhale, jump. Inhale, jump. Exhale, jump. Quiet. Inhale, jump. Exhale, jump. Rest. Right? That is your starting position. If you hear it making too much noise or there's too much weight on your wrist, then that should be the end of the pose. If you feel like the jumping is light, then we can now teach you how to cross your feet. Let's begin. As you inhale and jump. Now, if she's lifting this leg, all we're going to do is make a little circle with her feet around her hands. She'll take a few breaths here, then she'll lift and go back to the squat and jump back again. As long as the weight is off the ground and you can get to the squat, the next step would be to go down. But again, it's very important. If the squat is too heavy, or there's too much weight on your wrists, or you can't hold your feet up, there's no point in going down. Everything in Bhujapadasana happens in the very beginning and the very end. So if there's no support in the beginning of the pose, there will be no support at the end of the pose. There's no real way for anybody to adjust this pose. No one should be standing over and holding them. Either their legs are up or their legs are not up. One more time. So we'll listen for how light she lands, and we'll watch the feet draw a little circle in front. See the upper back is round, and then take it back. Yeah, take it back.
Oh, sorry.
And jump. Bhujapadasana. Kumasana and Supta Kumasana. It's very similar to what we just talked about earlier in Bhujapadasana. Again, this is a pose that should not be learned by a video or by a YouTube. It should be done in a class with a teacher to assess it. Again, we'll talk about how to get into the pose and how to get out of the pose. Start from downward dog. So like Bhujpadasana, we first want to have that light jump to your hands. Right? And jump back. Right? That's the most important. We're lifting the legs up and landing quietly. We want to maintain the lift through the thigh. Jump to a squat. And now just sit down. That is as basic as you can do the pose. If possible, maintaining this lift and maintaining the support, you can then put yourself down lightly. So try again. And this time, keep the lift in the legs. And sit back, lifting the legs. And come down. So this is your starting position. Now, once we've begin to sit on the floor, there's a few things when you're learning this pose we need to work with. One is always have the feet a little bit wider than the mat. Right? Number two is you want to keep the heels up. We want to keep the knees lifting up. It's very common to want to let all this drop out. Right? So we want to keep this up. After we do this, I want you to reach underneath and just catch your feet. So you see how the elbows now come to the ground and the back begins to stay round and we put the head down. In this position, what we're looking for is as the head goes down, the elbows should start to want to come out. Right? We're looking for elbows down and head down. That is probably the most important thing you need to know. Once the elbows become free, you can then bring the arms out to the side. After that, it's just time and just a matter of flexibility before the legs will start to slide forward and you'll go down. Right? When you're coming out of the pose again, we want to bend the knee. So we're always lifting from the knee and we're letting the back stay more rounded than normal. For the Supta Karmasana position, it's most important that we touch the hands. We catch the hands first. Okay? This is all we want. If that's all you can do, then that's fine. It's most important, hands catch first. Once the hands catch or go back, then the feet can walk in. So that's your basic Karmasana pose and Supta Karmasana. What makes Supta Karmasana is that the hands will come behind the back and catch, and the feet will touch. Once the feet touch, we then try to cross the feet. But only the feet touching or crossing is Supta Karmasana. Once we bring the feet over the head, that is what is known as Raja Karmasana. Again, just the basic pose, hands will catch, feet will touch. To come out of the pose, you sit up first, just lift up. Right? Again, keeping the thighs being pulled back, keeping the lift in the hips. She's going to see if she can just put her feet right on the floor next to her hands. And then from there, jump back. Karmasana and Supta Karmasana, good, jump through. Jump through. Those poses should not be learned separately. They're quite intricate. The basic idea is you're lifting the thighs and getting your head down so the elbows are free. In the adjustment of the pose, bend your knees, take the pose again. When moving the foot forward, you want to make sure that the calf muscle is coming over the shoulder. So as we lift the leg, we bring it forward and up. The calf muscle is coming over. Never the knee, and never bring the heel into the head. You can see how the knee wants to fall out. The calf comes over. The calf comes over. That is the adjustment. When we're adjusting the hands, we always make sure the shoulder is down, hand is up. Shoulder is down. Take a deep breath and catch. Do not pull, do not force. Allow the shoulder to dip underneath the calf muscle. And then sit up. Just sit up. That is Supta Komasana.